So hi, hello, Ruth.
Hey, hello, Pia.
I'm just
Nice to
gonna
see you.
invite some more people here for us to join.
Okay,
Uh,
maybe I should do the same thing. Hello, everybody. If you're there, I'm going to see if I can. If you've got any. What's that?
It should be on my page. That's where you find
Okay.
it.
All right.
This is like, where do you stream something like this? Something so different. It's like, of course, on the page where you are different yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So
Oh, it's so cool. I love that you asked me to do this with you, to have this conversation with you, Pia, because like you just said, that thing about being different.
yeah.
Necessarily expect, when you've been, when you know that you're a bit different, you don't necessarily
Yes.
expect anyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. And it's like, who's going to talk to me? I'm so different. And I'm wondering how many of the animals are going, don't even bother talking to these people.
Oh, no, that's not. I know
Actually
that's true.
so
that's true.
let me make a true introduction. Yeah, I shared this too. So let's see who comes on from Europe and Denmark, and the rest can get it later. If you're here, you're here, and you're so welcome, and we're so happy to have you here. And I invited Ruth for a short conversation on something very different with animals. And Ruth has this, I call it magical way of being with animals that I know very few people that can be. You're the only one I met that communicates in this way.
Yeah.
And yes, yes. And I saw a post from you, and that's actually what spurred it. I saw a post, not only a post, but also a Facebook Live you did yesterday, where you have been like being with a crocodile. And before that, you actually asked, before coming to this place where you go see this crocodile over 4 years, you had asked a question about what contribution you could receive.
Yeah, it's true. I did.
And I also seen other posts where suddenly deers will, like this one, will appear in the forest next to you, and it just not scared of you in any way. And I'm wondering what you can share with us, that maybe is hidden in little pieces inside of every one of us that we can connect to.
Oh my God, I so love this question. And it's I love, Pia, how you've gone super large with your question. Because I don't know how I can answer this question quickly. It makes me laugh so much. Because I'm not kidding. I've been doing this like my whole life.
Yeah.
To be doing it, to explain it in a way is really interesting. Try a question.
Yes, I have a different question. How much joy do you have around animals?
That's a wonderful question. I experience a huge amount of joy being around animals. It's been like this secret that I've had with the animal kingdom that I can remember having when I was little, and I still have now. And it's funny because, sometimes I can tell that in people's minds, this is the sort of thing you should give up when you're little, but it's me. It's I'm not giving it up. So I go and be on a regular basis. In fact, pretty much every day. But and today I had a little chat with a beetle who came and
Oh, and I'm so happy you talk about the insects too, because they're not excluded from this. And I'm wondering where I could have been today if I hadn't decided at 4 years old that I wasn't going to scare anyone when I talked to the bees.
Uh,
And I decided, no, 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 I don't want to scare anyone. They were afraid I was going to get stung, and there were so many bees around. And I just recalled that lately, that it was like, this is where I shut it down the first time. And it was like, and when it opened up, and I was like, oh, I am not as scared of bees. I had to make myself scared of bees.
right.
And it's like you talk to a crocodile, how many people will go like be with a crocodile and have a crocodile come close to them
Yeah.
and and and
Yeah.
and be so intimate, like you were intimate with that crocodile the other day. And I would like ask people please to go, we'll put your page in there, and please go see that conversation there. But it's like, what can we receive from animals? That's my question. It's like, what's possible?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very small question, isn't it?
That's a very small question. I love
Let's
it.
talk about the beetle. I mean, people go like, oh, beetle off. It's like, what is the beetle when it comes and sits on you? What is that? Can we receive a contribution from it, or is it just bucking you like a true buck?
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, obviously, I know plenty of people, pretty much most people, as soon as they see something crawling on them, they go to flick it off. And even to be quite honest, even I do it sometimes, and I go like, hold on a minute, who am I being when I do that thing? That's not my reality. And so, I use the questions that we use in Access Consciousness, like, oh, who am I being when I do that thing? And what would it take to not do that? What would it take to know what I am aware of with this when this sort of thing happens? Because there's got to be, I don't know about you, Pia, but is there, well, I'd like to, let me ask you a question. So when an animal comes to visit you in whatever form, if it's a worm or a cockroach or a beetle or a spider or a mouse or whatever it is, although mice aren't the most obvious ones to come and visit, but anyway,
Yeah.
they don't tend to do that. They do sometimes, but not the most common. Does it ever cross your mind that they might have something that they would like to, what I would say, impart?
It does. After actually after I started the talk to the animals, I realized that that's what they did. I was scared of spiders, and I had scared of so many things that crawled or come flying up, and it wasn't until then I acknowledged that, whoa, um when I get alert, they get alert. And this is that fear I'm sensing. It's not really fear, it's alert of what's going to happen here.
Oh.
And I never thought that to a spider, I'm like a huge predator unless I choose not to attack it. Like if I come with, oh, hi, it goes, oh, hi. I noticed that energy of, oh, I'm just sitting here, I'm just hanging around. And after I've started playing with it. But until then, I would go, and it would be like, oh, she spotted me. Is he gonna eat me? And it's like, and I had never looked at it from a spider's perspective. Of fuck, that's a huge creature that just showed up like out of nowhere. And is he gonna eat me?
Is that what they think?
No, I don't. They don't think to me.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they just totally react and go like, is he a bird? Is he a whatever is he gonna eat me? If because there's something that big, or is it because when I come in, I always been very intensive, like I am also now. I'm very intense. So, and I usually I don't do prey animal. I'm more like predator animal energy. Um, I can be a kind predator, but still, if I get scared, I get scary. You know, Like it's like kind of if you take a dog and you push it up in the corner and you're going to beat it, it's going to attack you.
You're
I
like that.
noticed. Like that. Or a horse. Like a horse, if I come into the stable, yeah.
Are you gonna eat me?
No, I'm not. And that's see, that's a difference. I noticed. So that my question is, because it's really weird. My question to you is like, because I noticed how if you don't have that energy, that you seem to have more ease with communicating. Like if you didn't have that survival of I have to survive energy, then the connection with the animal seems to be more ease.
Yeah, I would.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
I would definitely. But it's about I love how I suggested to you maybe ask me a question, and like there are all these great big questions.
I can't.
But the thing is, you see, Pia, I've been playing with this like for a really long time, and I'm still like, I notice so many things and it's changing all the time. So what what do I say? I would say this, that what I notice is that it's like there are layers of nonsense that you kind of have to allow yourself to be curious about, to move through them. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying that I've gone the whole way, right?
No.
But I would say I've definitely made some progress. and and it's, you know, and wow, just like so many things, you know, I'm not unlike Dane in the sense that everything wants to be said all at the same time. You know, so when you ask a question that's like, whoa, there's all this information. And actually, well, anyway, so not all animals actually want to communicate, right? They could just show up. But if you ask a question and discover, it could show up straight away, and it might take some attention, you know, some practice, some commitment from anybody. But when I when I hang around long enough to get through the nonsense, it's a very different voice, you could say, of the animal that shows up, and totally beyond what you would expect. Like the experience with the crocodile yesterday. It's a really good you know, like you said earlier, I've been visiting this place for about 4 years. I lose track of time, is the honest thing. It's 4 or 5 years, I don't know, something like that. And every time I've gone to visit up until yesterday, I've done the things, you know, being friendly, blah, blah, blah. But there wasn't anything like really budging. I noticed some stuff happened, but nothing. But this time, it was really different, and it was because of what you said earlier, that before I went there, there'd been some stuff going on with my body, and it's just like not shifting. I'm doing all the things I know how to do, and it's not moving fast enough. And so it just occurred to me, okay, this time when I go to visit, I'm going to ask for contribution from me and my body. And that appears to have been the thing that intrigued this crocodile, or whatever you want to say. I'm not going to speak for the crocodile in that sense. I didn't ask them, were you intrigued? But definitely something was different. And so, and it was so different. It was so different, you know, like I don't expect anyone to believe me at all, because everyone's projecting this stuff at the crocodile, right? So when I go there, I not only have the experience, experience of me with that being, but I'm picking up all the projections, expectations, and all the stuff that people have around this particular animal or another animal, because just because it's a crocodile or a sweet fluffy thing, it's still projections, right? And those things still stop the stuff. But anyway, so here I am, and but this time I chose to go as late as I possibly could, so there would be fewer people. I made that was a choice, and I was right at the end of the chance that somebody else could be around, and that really made it. I reckon that made a difference, having fewer people around, projecting stuff. But there was this moment where, how do you describe these things quickly? But like you said, I don't know. It was like I was there and I was willing. I'm not forcing myself, but I did. What I should say is I wasn't forcing myself on the crocodile, but I let the crocodile know, I'm here and I'd love if you would like to, because I just love all animals. I just go, oh wow, you're amazing, and I just stand there going like, oh wow, look at you, you're gorgeous, and all that kind of thing. And and then all of a sudden she realized, because she was doing another thing, right? She was doing another thing, and then all of a sudden she realized, oh, hold on a minute, this one's being really different. She responded in a way that you kind of got the sense that no one maybe had, no one's going to do it like me, in the sense that nobody's going to do it like anybody else, right? So, but she definitely was like, oh, this is really different. And she got really, really interested. And then it was like, I'm not kidding, and this has happened, like, actually, I was thinking about it earlier. It's like, I know an ostrich that did the same kind of thing, where this moment happens where this crocodile just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you're amazing. Like she had fallen in love with me. She had just like, oh my God. And she was like really in my world. She came right in, she couldn't get close enough. There was no close enough. We were totally, we were in communion, but the energy of her was like pushing herself into my world, and she just couldn't get enough of me. And it was like, a big love affair that no one dares have, because, it's like, what am I meant to do? Am I allowed to be this, da, 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 da? But there was none of that with her. She just like, oh my God, oh my God. And she was flirting, and it was amazing. It was really amazing.
Yeah. And so when you say this, the fall in love, when you describe it, what I get is like, I met a being that doesn't have a point of view about me. We're just being here.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm looking at what invitation, if we would like to receive more from animals around us, it could also be our pets. If we didn't project, expect, if we put that aside and just be there, and like you said, you're amazing.
Yeah.
And then I notice you see that in people too. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not excluded to animals. You see that in bodies, you see that everywhere. And thank you. It's such a gift, because I know for me, when you do that, like just like you described when you say that to me, it melts my world. And I just want to create with you and be with you whenever you do this. And it's like, and you don't even have to show up and speak to me. You could just like be there, hello, when I comment and you comment back, it's like, I'm just here with you.
Oh.
And I because you were also being that when I on your live said something yesterday, whatever question you asked, I'll go back and I will be with this. I will be with your question and find out what it is you asked for, because I'm here.
Yeah.
Present. So yeah, so it's not, I didn't invite you so you had to be here on long here, but really what if this is what people take away, the presence, like just just relaxing, choosing to be with the animals or each other. But
Mm.
it might be more easy to try and play with the animals first, as they don't have a judgment of us. They're just like, if they care, you know.
That's the thing. I mean, not all animals want to have a conversation with you, right? Not all.
I know that.
It might be one time they do, one time they don't.
Mhm.
But there will be times where they will, and yeah,
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, as you say that, I noticed the difference. Such a difference. When I can't go for a walk one day, and all the dogs wants to come to me, and
Oh,
other days it's like one and or none, and they just pass me. And I even go, because I will go hi to them on a distance, and most of them would go not noticing, because I'm like with my I'm with this guy or I'm with this lady, and
yeah,
this is, oh, I'm sniffing. I'm like, I am not talking to you.
yeah,
And other days they're like, oh, let's receive from each other. And then they come up and like, oh, you have something here and I have something here and we can exchange this, and we'll do that. And the owner thinks you're petting me, and that's cool. It's like, owner,
yeah,
this is
exactly.
also
Yeah,
fun.
you're having a conversation outwardly, but there are different things going on between you and the dog, right? That's
Yeah,
what.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is what I do. I pretend it's like it's something totally different.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But it's interesting. We can end up talking all night. But
Yes, we could.
sometimes you get that the person who's like the guardian for that dog
Yeah,
kind of gets a bit what's going on. That happens sometimes, and you can have a different conversation. It's just great. It's just
yeah.
great. Wow, yeah. I loved so much that you invited me to this conversation, because actually I thought we were going to be talking about deer, but
And I know, but that was another day, you know.
it was another day. Yeah.
And everybody, well, if we posted the crocodile, nobody would come, huh? No, it's like, that's why would I talk to a crocodile, but a deer?
I
No,
did
sneaky, sneaky.
talk about a deer because I had a chat with I had an experience with a deer. They're not always like words, right? It's just these, yeah. But like not long before the crocodile, I had a thing with the deer, which totally surprised me, because it's a place where you can go and feed deer. They come to you,
Mhm.
and I had my little, and it's usually the females. The females usually they rule. They seem to rule, and so they come around, and but this time there were no females. I'd never seen that before, and there was a stag waiting, a young, like an adolescent stag, and yeah, he he was there, and it was just such a different experience to the females, such a different experience. And there was this moment where I leant forward to look at the what was in left for him to eat, and he came forward too, and he bonked me with his antlers, right? And it was like, oh wow, that was such an amazing energy. It was like a magic. It was like bouncing into a magic wand. It was like, whoa, look, that energy is amazing. It was because I suppose it was growing still, right? It's still, there's still,
Yeah, like the trees, they also in the spring go zzz, like almost if you touch it,
right.
humming.
Well,
Yeah,
I hadn't had that experience of a live antler before, and it was when it bonked, it was like, whoa. And then like I could, yeah, I could just feel all this like upward movement, and like not electricity exactly, but something. God, and he was so gentle. Anyway, literally, I can't stop talking about animals. If you want to stop me, you better
no, I just, so you have your whole lifetime, you never shut this off, and
well,
I,
that's not entirely true.
well, yeah, unless you meet
It is, and it is.
people. Yes and no, yeah. And I was like, so as people, we try to be normal, and we, in the beginning when we were posting here, we were talking about being different, and
Yeah.
and like, so you don't have to show up as too different. You could do this all on your own. I just wanted to say that to everyone. You could be your own little secret to go for a walk where there's no people around, and start playing with this of be present with the animals. And also what I have to awaken the capacity I have used to talk to the animals. The access consciousness tools have talked to the animals, and I'm so grateful for them. And I'll put a link with this so you can find it, and if you're interested in seeing that, we'll.
That's a really great tip, because it doesn't matter what capacities you have, whether you've discovered them yet or not, whether you've learned other things or not, that manual and the class are totally amazing. And yeah, this is another conversation entirely. Maybe we could have this sometime, but it's not just about animals, right?
No, it's about us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's a growth. And that's as like every animal I chose to have a communication with has expanded my world, even if it was a fly.
What do you mean, even if?
Because for people, I'm saying, yeah, even if for you it's like the greatest, but for where I come from is like, people would just slap the fly and go like, you're less than me, I'm gonna slap you. So suddenly my family doesn't slap the flies anymore, because I started going, when they come to the food, even those big that goes really around, I don't know what you call them, but they're not supposed to sit on the food and put their eggs down. That's what people are afraid of when they start talking about it. But I just look at them and I go like, hey, can you like go out and or could you sit down and wait for your turn? It's like, and they go, okay, and then I can just perceive them going like further away, but they're still seeing the food on the table, and they're going, and I can perceive, oh, now they're looking at the bread, now they're looking at the meat, now they're looking. I had one of those situations where I'm like, and suddenly it's like, I'm looking, oh, that looked delicious, and I'm like, no, you have to wait. Okay, but that looks, and then I saw the next thing it was looking at, that looks delicious.
Wow, that's
and so
amazing.
yeah, and they noticed. I just pointed and say, can you please go over there, and just sat down and was over there. And it was so cool. Not all flies will do this, because not all flies will talk to you, but I find that a lot will actually communicate with me on this one. And then I'm like, when we're done eating, you're like, you can sit on my plate now. It's like,
that sounded a bit rude.
and I was like, I know, but then but you know what I found out, because I was like, oh, they're gonna go for the ice cream that I had some sorbet ice cream. Oh, of course they want to sit on that sweet stuff, but no way, this fly would not sit on the sweet stuff. It was like, oh, that is sticky, and no, can I sit over? I want to sit on something else, but that stuff, that's sticky, I won't sit on there. Because it sat on there, it went there, and then it went, ugh, and then it went, I gotta clean this up. So I had never noticed. I just thought, and this is me thinking, which is not really helping when you're with animals. I noticed that it's a projection, an expectation, because everybody's just talking, they'll sit on anything, they'll eat shit, no, they won't sit on anything. I just discovered, and I got more awareness.
Yeah, another big topic I'm going to
Okay, so let's say, everyone, we would like to invite you to open up to your animal.
Yeah.
Your inner animal.
Yeah, well, and I mean, the world is full of animals. They're everywhere, and you need never be bored, right? If you open up the possibilities to be present with the animal kingdom, you're never going to be alone or lonely. There's always going to be someone or something really, really close by who is interested in engaging.
Yeah.
That has never,
Yeah, really. And even if you're not allowed to have pets in your apartment, you can still have communication. It's like
Yeah,
they're everywhere. Yeah, I know.
spiders.
Oh yeah. I perceive all the people going, ah, spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the funny thing is I made the people's world so okay, I'm gonna put that into. I made the people's world so valuable since I
Yeah.
was a little kid, validating other people's and even people's realities, trying to learn to be a people person.
Yeah.
And I gave up so much of what I can be that's not about the people, but about everyone, everything. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you, Ruth.
Oh, it's such a pleasure anytime.
And thank you everyone for listening. And if you drop in a question, you can do it in English, Danish, whatever you like. Not what we can use Google Translate.
Yeah.
We'll add them all back to you.
Surprise us with any language.
Yeah.
We would like the experience of using Google Translate.
We won't promise we know anything about it, but we can ask a question.
Yeah. Totally. Oh gosh. Thank you so much for inviting me to this conversation, Pia. I'm really grateful. It's really tickled me and I like being tickled. So there we go.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure. I look forward to the next time.